Hi. Do you ever notice how even when you accomplish something, you finish a project, you reach a goal, or finally get that thing that you've been working so hard on, you barely let yourself celebrate before your brain is asking, okay, what's next? But you may be holding a lot of space for negative feelings. And if you grew up in chaos or with emotionally immature parents, chances are that your nervous system was trained to always be scanning, planning, and preparing. And that survival mode doesn't just switch off because things are calmer or because you are an adult, right? It shows up as restlessness, as guilt when you're still, and as always needing the next thing to line up, right? So tonight, I want to talk about why it is so hard to enjoy the present when your mind is future tripping. Because I can relate, and I'm hoping that if you relate along the way, that you comment below and how we can begin practicing presence in a way that actually feels safe and not scary. Hello, everyone. I am Karina, and I am a psychotherapist and coach on a mission to help you heal the impact of growing up with dysfunctional family dynamics and parentification trauma so that you can live your life unapologetically. And I see a comment. Hello, Lolly. Welcome back. It's always wonderful to have you. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. And if you're new here, nice to meet you. For all of you here that are regulars, you can see that I have a little tan. I just came back from vacation, literally from my first cruise ship. And I posted about this and how it was also an experience to break generational trauma because I brought my mom, who was also an extremely parentified daughter, along with me. And it was beautiful. It was wonderful to connect in a way that it's not just about putting out fires or talking about drama and lamenting, but rather let's enjoy life. Life is also about connecting and enjoying. And I have to admit, a little bit selfishly, even though this topic comes up a lot within my sessions and my membership, I think that a part of me also wanted to discuss this topic because I struggled with this at times during my vacation. Like I was feeling, um, I was enjoying it. And sometimes I was like, oh, wow, I was so relaxed. Maybe I'm forgetting something. Maybe I need to be doing something and be productive. So I had to talk myself out of it. Can you relate to this? Please let me know in the comments. Okay. Because for many survivors of dysfunctional families, stillness was unsafe. And if you stopped, something bad might happen. So your body learned to stay busy, alert, and prepared. And this is why, even now, when life might be more stable, rest feels wrong. And you have built an identity around productivity, achievement, and maybe anticipating what's coming. Also, another angle is that if you're someone who is very empathic, you're a highly sensitive person, you have been parentified, then you may feel guilty for having fun and enjoying. And I speak a lot about this topic. Let me know if you resonate. But even on vacation, I caught myself thinking about my own privileges while on vacation. Like, wow, I know that there are so many people struggling right now in this state of the world. Um, there are so many injustices going on. So I caught myself also thinking about that, and then I had to remind myself that I also deserve that, and I could be helpful by taking care of myself, by using my resources to impact, these communities that I am worried about in a very tangible way. Maybe it is donating food, maybe it is sending funds to help those in need. And if I don't take care of myself, then how can I show up for all of you and for my clients and my members, especially now that there is such a great demand for mental health and for providers that accept mental health and I accept, pardon me, health insurance in New York City. So, anyways, going on a bit of a tangent there because this has been coming up a lot and I have been struggling with that myself. So, again, I want to give you some examples of how this may be showing up based on what I witness often. Let's say that you finally finish a big project at work. And instead of feeling proud, you immediately think, what do I need to do to tackle tomorrow? Or what could you have done better? Maybe because you received a little feedback that, some things could have been tweaked. And so you catastrophize, right? And don't get me wrong, it is beautiful and it is essential that you strive for growth. However, everything is about balance, right? So let's say that you plan a vacation like I did, but then you spend the whole time worrying about emails piling up, the itinerary, or how you will catch up when you get back. Okay. Hello. Hello, Letty. Good to see you. Oh my goodness. It's wonderful to have you. Right. So even with those joyful milestone, graduating, moving, going on vacation, or reaching a personal goal, for me, it was going on that cruise, taking my mom on the first time, someone who has been extremely parentified and who I had to compassionately set some boundaries and hold accountable to holding a mirror to the generational trauma that was happening, the cycle. And, we have a wonderful relationship. Thank God for that. And thank God for this ongoing work. So part of my personal goals was I want to go on a cruise. I want to take my mom. I want to show her that it's okay to live and life, it's important to live and enjoy. It's meant to enjoy beyond self sacrifice and sacrificing for others, right? And let me know if that resonates with you and your dynamics, let's say with your mom or your family, because I know many of my clients can resonate with that. And sometimes we also feel guilty if we are, as I mentioned, even either having a good time or moving forward in life and our families are stuck in the same cycle, then we feel guilty. So again, when we are in the middle of that or we accomplish those goals, then you may downplay it eventually because your brain is already racing toward the next mountain to climb, the next goal. And why does this matter? Because living this way robs you of joy. And then life becomes this checklist instead of an experience. And then it reinforces the old survival belief I'm only safe when I'm working towards something and not when I'm resting and simply existing. Please let me know since I see a few of you and some of you regulars that are here. If you resonate with this, I would love to hear from you because I know I'm not the only one and my clients are not the only ones. So let me offer you this perspective. When your nervous system is used to chronic stress, calm feels foreign. And then stillness might even trigger discomfort because your body associates it with vulnerability. If I'm too still and calm, something bad may happen. You see, presence requires letting go of control, even temporarily. And let's say for parentified adults, control was the only thing that kept you afloat. So there's also a fear of feelings. When you slow down, the emotions that you have avoided can surface. So your brain, it can catapult you into the future, right? Let's plan because it feels too uncomfortable to be this quiet and too still. So you sit down to rest and suddenly you are flooded with thoughts like I should be cleaning, I should be calling my mom or my family, or I should be working out, I should be doing this, I'm falling behind. And for instance, meditation it can feel unbearable because your mind will not stop racing. I know many of my clients identify with this, and members like, oh, please, I cannot do the affirmations, or I cannot meditate because I keep on thinking about what I need to do next. So please do not make me meditate. I said, well, I'm just your facilitator. I cannot force you to do anything. And they usually arrive to that conclusion that maybe would be helpful to meditate, but they're resistant to. So we start with baby steps and we say, okay, what about if we dedicate 3 minutes of listening to guided affirmations? Not meditating, but let's listen to affirmations on the go. And that way you can become more intentional. So that is a way that we can start having some baby steps and embracing being in the moment and feeding your mind positive thoughts and being in the moment and not in a state of anxiety about future tripping and planning. Another way that this shows up is like you may avoid celebrations because they feel self indulgent. So you brush them off and you may move on. You may just send the gift. Let me know in the comments if this sounds familiar, right? So, stillness feels uncomfortable, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your body is detoxing from years of hypervigilance. Again, stillness feels uncomfortable because your body is detoxing from years of hypervigilance and you're so used to being hypervigilant. So, this is where we move from insight into practice. Okay. I want to pause and ask you if so far you have a question, a comment, if you can relate, since a few of you have commented and said hello. So please let me know because I am going to transition into some practical ways and simple ways, but effective ways that we can begin to counteract these tendencies. Okay. I'm on the lookout on the comments. Okay. Number one, micro moments of presence. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire lifestyle, start with tiny moments. I cannot begin to stress this enough. When you eat, for instance, pause. Pause for 2 breaths before your first bite and acknowledge what you are eating. And when you're walking, notice one thing with each of your senses. Maybe the air on your skin, the sound that you may be hearing, or something that you smell. And then when you finish a task, please, please, please sit for 60 seconds and acknowledge, I did that. It's done. Okay, just one baby minute. How does that sound, everyone? Okay, all right. Number two, I want you to celebrate without qualifiers. What I mean by that is practicing celebrating small wins without adding a but, right? For example, someone may say, wow, I can't believe it. You organized that event and it went so well. Thank you, but I wish that I could have promoted it better. Or thank you, but I could have been more eloquent in my speech when I was, the MC or when I organized whatever. There's always a but. So I want you to start celebrating without qualifiers. So instead of, I did great on this project, but I still have so much to do, then I want you to try, I did great on this project, period. That's it. Build rituals of celebration, light a candle, write down your win, Maybe reward yourself and share it with a trusted someone so that you can begin to hold space for these moments and you can come back to them and remember them versus the things that you may be lacking or that you perceive to be lacking and not doing good enough. Okay. Number three, let's redefine productivity. Ask yourself, what if resting, laughing, or simply existing is also productive? It is something I had to practice during my vacation that I just came back from today. So reframe it as fuel. For instance, as I mentioned, I struggled with this while I was away. But then I thought, you know what? Let me use this time to be creative and brainstorm around some topics that I know people may resonate, that come up with my clients, my members. And you see, instead of thinking that I had to record some videos, that I had to create this extensive plan, then I just said, let me just brainstorm ideas based on things that come up and things that I'm passionate about. So that's a way, you see, that's a way of doing that. And mind you, I know I'm planning by doing that, but it is not extensive work. I was resting while I was doing that. I was enjoying my time. I was at the pool, but I was brainstorming and whatever came up, okay, let me do a little voice note. But that is a healthy compromise between I have to strategize, I must be doing this, to I'm doing nothing, I'm being unproductive. So it's just baby steps. And remind yourself that resting isn't wasted time, but it's repair time, especially if you have been over functioning a lot. Okay. I also want to, on this note, I want to point out that a lot of us may suffer from paralysis by analysis, and you may feel guilty or feel shame and feel like there's something wrong with you because maybe you're not getting a lot of things done. And sometimes we underestimate the fact that thoughts, emotions, they are physically draining. So the more you hold space for those negative thoughts, and I could have, should have, it is physically draining. It is psychologically and emotionally draining. So do not underestimate the fact that you probably had been working overtime, and that is why, instead of beating yourself up about it, I want you to reframe rest as repair time so that when you look back, you're not regretting, right? I could have, should have, but now moving forward, you can see that because you rested and were not beating yourself up about it, now you're less drained because you're not holding all these negative thoughts and shameful thoughts about yourself. And let's see, number four, anchor to your values, not your to-do list. Okay. Again, anchor to your values and not your to do list. Instead of asking, what is next on my list? I want you to ask, what matters to me right now? And if you value connection, maybe if you call a friend, that is a way that you can honor that value. If you value peace, maybe you go for a walk without your phone. And those are ways, micro steps to honoring your values. And if your value is joy, maybe you let yourself watch a silly show without multitasking. Deal? Let me know, everyone. I'm on the lookout in the comments. And number five, yes, guilt soothing scripts. When guilt rises because you're not doing enough, try saying it is safe to pause. Nothing bad will happen if I rest for 5 minutes. Remember, I talk about guilt a lot in this space. You can say An affirmation such as, I am allowed to experience joy without earning it first. Another one is, being present is just as valuable as being productive. Okay? Let me know in the comments what can be a mantra for you to reframe rest and see it as repair. Let me know. And this week, I want you to experiment with one small act of presence. Choose one moment each day where you will intentionally pause and savor the moment, whether it is a sip of coffee, a tea, water, a conversation, or stepping outside. Write it down or share it with a safe person for accountability. And if you're a Self Worth Hub member, share it within the community. Find your accountability partner. And then notice how your body feels. The discomfort may still be there, but so will the evidence that joy is possible in small, everyday ways. Okay? Extra points for you. Remember that if you are a Self Worth Hub mom, Self Worth Hub member, and you are watching, don't forget to jot this down for a chance to win our self care monthly gift card. So do not forget that. I see some of you. So before we officially close, I want to remind you that joy doesn't live in the next goal. It lives in the right now, in the present moment, and acknowledging the fact that where you are today, it's probably a place where you desired to be in the past. We often underestimate how far we've come. So I want to know, what is something that you desired in the past that you are experiencing now? Are you taking it for granted? Because now you're looking into future tripping and what you have to do next? Or are you savoring the fruit of your labor, whatever that may look like? It doesn't have to be big. Okay. For me, is that I remember when I started this journey back in January and I had 3 subscribers, I was a bit shy going live on YouTube. And of course, I am perfectly imperfect, but I am feeling more comfortable, more confident showing up here. And it is an opportunity to improve. And that is how I'm seeing it. So this is something that I materialized. What is that for you? Please share it. I want to celebrate with you. I want to see you post it in the comments. Okay? So remember that while your survival brain might want to keep you racing ahead, your healing self is learning that stillness can be safe and presence can be deeply nourishing and transformational. Again, please celebrate where you are, not just the hustle or where you are going. And every time that you pause, even briefly, you are teaching your nervous system, I am safe, I can be here, and I can enjoy this moment. Okay? If I do not see any comments or questions, let me know. This is your chance before we close the live. Okay? I want to thank you for being here tonight and for choosing this practice of accountability. Remember that healing is not about a perfect future version of you. That is unrealistic. There's no perfection. Nobody is. Okay? This is about experiencing joy, appreciation for who you are and where you are right now, what you are allowed to feel right now. Okay? So I cannot wait to see you next week. Remember that this is part of our compassionate weekly accountability live streams. We're here every Sunday, and subscribe so that you do not miss any of our weekly videos and insights. If you have any questions, I read all of the comments. I do not take your time and trust for granted. And if you want to go deeper, do not forget to check out our Self Worth Hub membership, as the enrollment for our membership will be closing at the end of this month. After that, you will be placed on a wait list. So make sure that you join now. I will see you in the next video, in the next live stream. And please remember your resilience. Okay. Much love to you all. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.